This is David from T Equipment. Today we're going to be looking at the new Cantronic systems FSM 3000. We're going to talk about setup, how it works, and how a proper scan will look like on this unit. All right, so this is, as I mentioned, the FSM 3000, and we're going to be talking about putting the unit together. This is how it comes out of the box. So you have the unit itself, all of the connections here. It also comes with a plate like this. So you may be wondering what this is for. This is specifically to add the thermal sensor on top. And you have a couple of screws that are in the same bag here. There's a couple more accessories. And then you have your actual thermal sensor. So the thermal sensor simply attaches to the top of the unit. And then you'll actually be adding a couple of connections here, which tie in with the ones from the unit itself. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this together here. I'm gonna go ahead and just tilt this downwards here. And here you may notice that I'm gonna start actually removing the top section of the unit. So this is just a couple of clips throughout each piece here. This pops off entirely. You can just put that to the side. Then you're going to notice on the unit itself, there are a couple of screws here that you'll basically have to remove. So you need a hex key for that. Let me get it from the bag here. And let's go ahead and take these out. Perfect. So now that that's out, the back part will come out slightly like this. You don't have to take the whole entire thing off. Then you're just going to grab your actual mount and slip it through here. And ideally, you just want to have the top part of the unit. So this is actually really important to show. It only clips to the top piece here at the very top, and then it gets attached with the other one on top, adding pressure to it. So let me put this back down here, and let's use the desk to just give a little bit more room here for the base. And let me attach this one more time. Definitely start out with the top ones first, because that's where your plate's secured. And we'll do the second one here. And notice I have it off the desk slightly, that way the base doesn't get in the way and make adding these screws in here a little bit more difficult. This makes it easier. Okay, so once you have the plate screwed in, notice now it's actually fixed in here. The next part is actually just closing this back up. But before you do that, I recommend you actually bring this unit back up and add your thermal sensor. So this is the simple thermal sensor here. And we're actually going to add it on top of the unit. So basically just goes here. And notice that the cables tend to get in the way a little bit. So I recommend just moving this off to the side here. Passing it through here. And actually you can even use the plate itself to pass it through. So to give you a different angle, you can actually see me using the plate itself to loop the cable through it. That way you hide all of this when your unit is active. And I'm going to keep adding this carefully, so you don't break the cable here through the unit. Be very careful with the smaller, thinner cable on top. And now you are set here with the device. And let's put this back down here. Getting the thermal camera sometimes is a little bit more difficult. Just make sure you align it on the rails here. That should be good there. All right, so getting back here, once you get your camera situated well in here, you're going to notice that it should line up here with the rail. So there's a little bit of a rail here and the same rail on the other side. So you can see another rail. There's screws on each side of the unit here. And we're going to actually put this back down. And you're going to need a screwdriver to add this in here. So let's go ahead and actually add this in. And sometimes it's a little bit easier just adding this set of screws here with your thumbs and then standing it back up and securing it with the screwdriver. You don't have to go too tight on this, it's very light. And notice before we actually have the cable running through, right through the bracket, that way we can route this down. And now we're ready to add in the actual plate. However, before you add the plate, you can also route the cable through the other cable here. That way you have everything consistent going through the same channels. So again, be careful with the cable as you run it through. And now we can actually add in the actual cover again. And you're going to notice in the cover at the very top part, there's a little bit of a ridge here. That's exactly for the cables here as you add them through. And let's go ahead and just pass that through here. And again, these are just pressure contacts here, so you just got to pop this in as you go down the line here. If it makes it easier, you can also put this down and have it just pop in place. Again, make sure you keep the base off your desk. That way you have this leveled here. And we are set to go with the camera. The last step here is just connecting the thermal sensor to the connectors here on the device itself. How you can tell which ones are which is you're going to notice there's a couple of connectors here. These connectors only fit the connectors that are set up, basically the matching pair here, male to female. And let's grab the last one here. You're going to notice you can't really make a mistake here because all the other ones are not terminated, so you won't have a connector. So here you're going to be able to match the one here. Notice there's a little bit of a connector piece here that snaps into the other one. And the same thing with this one here. The cables here change in color, however, the actual connection still only one way. And then you are set here with the connections on both sides. The unit's good to go. So in the next video, we'll talk about powering this on and how the scan actually works.